How y'all doing? I'm Reginald Bullock here with Trey for Just Living Life, and this is our second
Yep.
time recording. So thank you for rejoining us. And Trey, what do you have to say?
I got a question. Like, should we call this episode 2 or episode 1? I had it personally as episode 1 because it was, the pilot was the last time. So that's why I just wanted to make sure. 'Cause you said 2, but they might have gotten confused. So I just want to make sure they understand. I was gonna classify it as episode 1. You got any problems with that?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Now, the difference is, though, suppose we edit it and break it into different sections. Like the first one we did was pretty long.
It was pretty
How
good.
many? How long was it?
I think I had like 23 to 26 segments out of that.
Yeah. So is each segment an episode?
It's like the overall thing would be an episode. Each one, each smaller piece, each smaller video would be a segment in itself. So that's what it'll be. But each overall video, like the long one, that hour long, 2 hour long.
So E1, S1, E1, S2,
Yeah.
E1, S3. So this is E2.
This will be We'll make this one E1. Let's make this one E1.
What was the last one?
The pilot, E0.
Okay. This is us, just living life here with Trey, and this is reality. And the thing that we wanted to do was to have two people who are not necessarily putting things together in a static way that, we rehearsed this for days and days and days, and now you're getting the show based on how we rehearsed it. No, you're getting authentic, real talk from real brothers who live real life because we just live it and we're sharing it with you. And what you just heard is an example of just how things come together. Yeah. That's the reality of how things come together in life. So.
Exactly. That was a very ad hoc question. It was a very ad hoc question I gave you. But also that's interesting. You said, what do you want to do ultimately? Because I was going to ask, when does building your foundation truly begin? Because, I think maybe early on, right? Like, all right, you got to get that confidence. Confidence is instilled in you early on. I think you can also develop confidence, but sometimes I think certain things, like certain intangibles.
Confidence is instilled in you?
It can be instilled in you early on. Because, like, let's say, for example, if your family's supporting you, you might have like tremendous confidence going out into the world. Whereas if you're not getting that support, you might not be that confident.
Okay.
So you might be a little more reserved. That's what I'm coming from.
Got it.
So, so that's what I was thinking of initially. But then I'm also realizing too, people gain confidence all the time. So, you can sort of build a foundation maybe later on in life too. So I was wondering, when do you think that foundation truly begins? Is it early on, or is it just whenever your journey, whenever is it ad hoc, I guess?
Man, it reminds me of a sales thing we used to say, soon and often. When do you close a sale? Soon and often. When do you build a foundation? Mm-hmm. Soon and often. It's kind of like reaping the harvest and sowing the seed prior to reaping the harvest.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what this winter is going to look like. You do know that you're going to need something to eat.
Right.
But the one thing you definitely know is you're not going to have nothing if you don't sow those seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So sowing the seeds is building the foundation. You don't necessarily know all of the requirements that you're going to need, but you know you're going to need something. I'm a keynote speaker. So part of the foundation is to be able to get up on stage and speak with a coherent thought to an audience.
Mm-hmm.
That can be done in all different types of ways and all different types of audience. But the basic foundation that I need to work on all of the time is the ability to articulate the English language in a way that other people understand.
Right.
And same thing if you're doing physical things, right? If you're planning on being in any kind of physical activity, then you need to get in shape. Whether you're a basketball player, sports, or golf, or construction work, or anything that requires lifting or endurance and cardio, then at some point you should have been getting yourself in shape. You don't know what you're going to end up doing ultimately.
Right.
You just have goals, desires, dreams, aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
But you do know that in order to do any of that kind of stuff, there's a basic foundation.
Yeah.
So you start soon. And then what about the unknown, right? There's so many things that I'm trained in the Boy Scouts. We trained in first aid.
Mm-hmm.
Hope we never need it.
Mm-hmm.
But should anything happen,
you're prepared.
I know how to do it. I know how to tie, 12, 15 knots.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How often do I tie knots? Well, we tie them on our shoes and everything else.
Right.
But there are certain knots that when you need them, you need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking, it starts maybe early on, that foundation. Because like there's certain things that I know I guess take with me nowadays
Mhm.
that I feel like kind of, I don't know, started when I was younger. Like just how I view people, how I view the world. I kind of want to keep that same mindset. Like obviously I've grown and evolved and realized some things are like just, a dream and whatnot. But I do think some of my a solid amount of my foundation came from like early on.
But where did it come from? Like, did you just decide I'm going to give myself a foundation, or were there other people that saw something that you didn't or had influence over that, and as a result of others, you now have it?
It might be the result of others, but when I say result of others, it's like I thought, okay, well maybe I need to change this because I initially like for example, okay, so I like sports. I love sports. I knew I always wanted to do something in sports. But then when I also thought about it, saying that out loud at a certain point in time, I'm like, that might not sound the best. It might not sound the most mature, whatever the case may be. But so I always thought maybe sports, even in anime, I want to do that. And I guess now I'm kind of realizing, well, I let others kind of sway my decision making. And like I thought I had like a pretty solid foundation early on. So I guess that's where I'm coming from with it now. It's like I assumed, I guess back then I had a solid foundation. I just let it change. And I'm curious if other people felt that same way too.
I mean, Simone Biles,
Mm.
one of the greatest female gymnasts in the world. Well, actually, the greatest now. And so the point is, where did her foundation come from, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a journey that we all walk. And as we are walking that journey, we discover things along that walk.
Hmm.
I hike a lot. So in the woods, I may come across certain different plants that I can eat. Some I can't. So if I'm hungry, I'll eat. Or I may throw some stuff in my pocket.
Right.
I come across water I can drink. So as you walk in the journey, you have an opportunity to learn, to experience, to grow from that moment. Now, that's a choice. So to your point, some things came because other people helped you to have that foundation.
Right.
But as you're walking your journey, you get choices every single day. And 10 years from now, when you look back and you wish you made a better choice,
Mhm.
which would have given you the foundation
Mhm.
for 10 years hence to do this thing that you want to do, that you don't have the foundation for, that's called wake up call experience. And now what do you do for the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just dynamic for everybody and cultures and people, and just needs. You could take 10 million different people and have 10 million different foundations.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
I'm about to say that sounds like a good way to end the show right there. I don't
It's
know.
all
What you think?
entertainment until it's not.
Exactly.
Because when it's not, it's actually living life.
That's a quality one. That's a quality one, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed it so far. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone who's anyone about the show. My name is Trey, and as you heard earlier, this is Reggie, and we're just on just living life. That's what we on today. So hope you all enjoyed it. Take care.
Yo, yo.
Yo yo.